calling Welcome to the Jungle, but it was about like where I work at, like here's Teeter. I called it Welcome to the Teeter. And I had a whole verse. I'm like, welcome to Teeter. We got a bunch of food. You don't even have to leave your car. We're bringing the bags to you. We got a full pharmacy, fill up on gasoline. We even got a mini bar if you want to sit and drink at the Teeter. That was just like going at this, dude. I'm just like, everyone was laughing. I'm like, dude, my past life, I must have been a jingle writer. You know,
What
meow makes
perfect.
something.
But what a perfect intro for episode 4. There we go. We're in it. We're in the incredible already. Welcome to the So Xander, since we just inherently started the podcast because we don't have to have a traditional start, what have you been up to this last week of madness?
Well, I mean, I've been working a lot and jumping into some of these indie games that we've been talking about in the previous episodes. Like been playing Pinball Spire, been playing Questmaster. Good stuff, man. Like Pinball Spire.
Yeah, let's talk Pinball Spire.
Oh man, you know, it really is like a Metroidvania pinball game.
It's wild.
Because you get new abilities and you can backtrack to other boards. And
what I love about the game is there's none of that pinball issue where you're constantly draining the ball and losing because there's no game over. But it goes back to the latest save point, which then just pops you up to the newest table. And there's really no stress of being able to die at all in the game, which just means it's a really chill, cozy Metroidvania. Have you gotten to any new biomes in the game, the new levels where it changes?
Where I'm at is I'm at that freaking level where I'm trying to ring the bells. You know what? You know that one board where you're trying to hit the certain bells in each part of the table, and it unlocks and opens up the next table. And I've been having some trouble with it, but the slowdown mechanic that they have is such a game changer because you can slow down, and even if you're stuck in a little spot, you know, you level up your mana. So as you progress, if a board's too challenging, just keep at it, get your mana up, and then it gives you even more time to slow down, because when you slow down, it shows like where the ball's going to go. And I feel like this is also a really cool game for people that love pinball that don't necessarily understand pinball. Because let's be honest, there are some people that love pinball, and I've been guilty of it in the past. I've always loved pinball, but there's times I played pinball, I was like, I'm just hitting the ball and I'm just bumping into things and getting points. I don't really know what I need to do in the game, like what tunnel I need to go in, what the objective is, because a lot of pinball games, they don't really tell you what to do. You're just there and it's loud and cool. Where Pinball Spire like gives it more direction in that sense. And I really enjoy that. You know,
well, speaking of direction, did you know you can press in L3 and it tells you exactly where to go?
Yeah, it changes your aspect ratio too. Like you can like zoom it out or zoom it in.
Well, yeah, you press it L3, it pauses. You can go in the scouter and you can literally see what objectives are. You can see what you need to hit, what you need to do. Well, I was asking about biomes. So you're still technically in the first biome. You go to the next one, it changes the music, it changes the design. So in Metroidvanias, the different biomes are the different atmospheres, the different environments that you go into. Each biome comes with a new power up. So when you get to the next one, I think the ball goes on fire. Then you can like plow through enemies and they do puzzles based on it. There's one, which the next game changer one, I think it's either the third or the fourth power up, where you press a button and you zoom around real fast. You go,
oh, wow.
And so, but it doesn't just zoom when you hit a paddle, it zooms based on the trajectory of the ball. So if you go like this and start falling back down, you can zoom down real fast. It's ridiculous. I actually sent you, I think it was on Monday, I think I sent you a picture. Like I beat Pinball Spire, got all the way through all the biomes. There's a whole thing where you go, there's like a basement level essentially, or the sewers. So you go all the way back down the whole way you traversed up, and then you start all the way at the bottom to unlock some shit. Then you got to make your way all the way back up. with all the new power-ups, which is fun, and then there's a like epic boss battle at the end, which is ridiculous.
That's so cool. That is so cool. It's an excellent game. Like I've been really enjoying it. I don't know if it's because I've been learning more and more about my laptop, and I'm like I have trouble like streaming some Steam games. Just there's just too much hassle with it. So that's another reason why I'm like looking to getting a Steam Deck because then I can do this more. But I did notice that I was having some frame drops on my laptop, so I had to drop down the resolution and stuff. But aside that, it's an excellent game, and like I said, I would almost say this is a great game to introduce someone to the world of pinball. You know, like because it breaks it down into more of a video game. It's not a pinball simulation video game. Like if you were to get those like FX Williams tables or something like that. This is a full-fledged adventure in the pinball realm, and I really enjoy that. It's really
The similar game for those of you that have played it on Switch or elsewhere, Yoku's Island Express. That one has, very like clean graphics. This one, Pinball Spire's pixelated graphics, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But Yoku's is a similar deal where you're like a dung beetle moving around a ball, but it's again a Metroidvania style where you progress through it. But that's one open world. This one's like interconnected biomes like in classic Metroidvanias, and it has the power-ups, which just is a game changer for it. Highly recommend Pinball Spire. Freaking awesome, man.
And you also beat another game this week too. You've been on a roll.
Well, those were within like an hour of each other or something because I was like, yeah. I mean, I've been playing both for weeks, so it wasn't like it was just all in the same day. But I beat Ouros, Ouros. That one. Speaking of chill games, and by the way, I'm outside. The sun is creeping on me. I'm like heating up here in Texas. So it is Ricky. It's 80 degrees out.
You just start melting in the middle of talking about the show. You just start melting. It's just like your face like sagging down.
In a rear.
This game is so chill.
So chill. Such a chill game. Now I'll relocate in the middle of recording here. I'll after I talk about a little bit of Ouros. But what's cool is it was originally a cell phone game is what I'm tracking. But I'm playing it on my Steam Deck. Steam Deck is touchscreen. So you sit there and you just move around all the little buttons. And in classic cozy game fashion, there's a little button in there. You press it in the corner and it shows you the pattern you need to make. So if you get stuck, so there really is no, like, there's challenge if you want to challenge yourself, but there's really no reason to stress yourself out for it. So, I mean, between that and Pinball Spire, I beat 2 chill, cozy games this week, which was really fun. And it just like made this whole pattern at the end. They zoomed out the whole pattern that you made when you made the game, and it was less. So it was very satisfying.
Another game I've been playing that I'm planning on doing a review for, and it's not as indie, but this is kind of it's from folks at Way Forward, and that is Clock Tower Rewind, and this is actually this is the first time that this game has been available in the US and Europe. This was always just a Japanese exclusive. Matter of fact, the first time I ever played it was through emulation, and then I had a fan translated repro SNES card back in the day. But it's a very interesting survival horror game. It's one of the earliest, and it's a point and click adventure. Kind of like to give kind of a scene like Maniac Mansion, if you guys ever played Maniac Mansion, but a lot more gory, a lot more atmospheric, very 90s horror. I love you got the Scissor Man coming out of nowhere. I mean, that was it was funny because the game is so pixelated, and I was sitting there playing it, and when the Scissor Man started chasing me and I had to hide in a car, I was still like, I was scared. I'm like, man, this is freaking crazy because they got the music going, and there was like the way you die in this game. Like, there's so many ways to die in this game, just making the wrong move. That's what makes it interesting. Because I mean, I got killed by a parrot. Like, there was this room or whatever, and I opened up this bird cage, and this parrot's like, "I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you." And he just kept saying that. And like, I'm trying to like walk away. And if you run, your stamina goes down. And when your stamina goes down, you're more likely to die. So if you start running, you could die from just one hit. So yeah, I almost got killed by a parrot. That was crazy. But yeah, what makes Clock Tower Rewind really interesting is not just a port, an official translated version of this Super Famicom Classic, but what makes it interesting is they did add a lot of quality of life improvements, including able to use your analog stick as a mouse, because that was one of the things about Clock Tower back in the day is it was best played with the Super Nintendo mouse because it is a point and click sort of game. So it's nice being able to use the analog stick, and if you're playing on Steam, obviously you'll be using the mouse, or Steam Deck, you can use the touch screen. They also have like comics that you unlock, like motion comics and art, which is cool.
Nice.
And you can also just play the original or the rewind. The rewind mode is it's a little easier. They've balanced a lot of things to it. But yeah, if you want to experience the original Clock Tower completely translated, like officially, um, Clock Tower Rewind from Way Forward, really, really cool stuff.
Well, and I mean, the history behind the series is good. And my daughter, she's 12 and she plays Roblox and plays the Mimic on Roblox, which is this horror game, and also has played Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. And there's all these specimens. There's specimens and things in the Mimic that are based off of Clock Tower. So she actually, when the actual poster came out in Nintendo Force magazine, my daughter wanted to put it on her wall. So it's on her wall right now, the actual it's also a picture. And the thing is that I think that most people know about it, not from the Super Nintendo version, but from the PlayStation releases with both games, 1 and 2 on the PlayStation, the Clock Tower games. And those were like a little bit better done because, it just refined the graphics a little at the time. But I'm looking forward to seeing this remake because I'm sure my daughter's going to want to play it. So then that gives me an excuse to actually put some time into it, which is nice.
Yeah, my only gripe about Clock Tower, like my only gripe is for like new players, it is a very slow game. I'm not talking, like story wise. Like the character moves very slow. It's just got this very tense kind of feel to it, and in a lot of ways it works for it, and in some ways because I was going to stream it, and I'm like, I don't know if this would be a fun game to stream because my I'm like just like do and plus there's a lot of
You would have to act. You would have to act and act crazy and
yeah, oh my god.
the thing is that there's actually my favorite TV show of all time, Game Center CX. There is an episode where he plays Clock Tower, and so it's all edited and for time for the hour episode. I mean, that show is in the 27th, 28th season at this point.
Wow, yeah,
It's been going on in Japan forever, to the point where in Super Mario Maker, the character Areno in Super Mario Maker, we get to unlock all the different Marios and the different characters in Mario Maker. He's from Game Center CX. He's the host, and he actually has his own Mario character. That's how like profound he is in Japan. A lot of people don't even know the show. Retro gamers know the show, and I say shame to all of you. But but on that side, there is a Clock Tower episode, and it's very, very amusing to watch him act crazy because he'll point and click and mess up on accident all the time, and then he dies in crazy ways. Like Scissorman just destroys him, and it's hilarious. Hilarious.
such a good
Love
game.
it. Love it. So another game that I finally played, and this was one that I had on recommendation from the Metroidvania guru because I had interviewed him for Video Game Bullshit like a month or two ago. And it's called Crypt Custodian. And this one's a isometric Metroidvania, which is very interesting. The developer is Kyle Thompson, which is he does more, I would say, chill Metroidvanias. He did a couple of different games. One's called Sheepo that he did. It's a very, very chill game, like short microvania type one. This one though is really cool because it's isometric, which it's kind of you're not on a 2D plane, but you're moving around on platforms, and you're a cat with a broom. You're the
Love it.
You're the custodian of the crypt, and you go around at the beginning of the game, and then what's hilarious is like you're like, oh yeah, go ahead and interact with stuff, and you can hit the pots, and like just like in Zelda, you're gonna hit all the pots right as you're going. And then you finally make it to the person, and they're evaluating your life that you led, and like you're a cat, so you were a real cat in real world, but oh, you were a good cat. And they're like, you were really good, all this stuff. You're gonna go to heaven. There's a little heaven door, and then there's the hell door or whatever. And then they're like, but I see that you just broke all my pots. You're a bad cat, so you're gonna go to hell. It's like, and they make sure you have to break the pots, so it's like hilarious. So then you're going through, and there's enemies everywhere, and it's like there's some bullet hell aspects to it, and it has the whole checkpoint system, and it's so far a bit ridiculous game. Apparently, it's chill, but I've been dying a lot, so I haven't found the chill aspects yet of Crypt Custodian. I absolutely don't want to play more of it and see where I can go, because eventually, with a lot of these Metroidvania, especially like my experience with Hollow Knight, is like eventually things click for me, and I haven't gotten to that point with Crypt Custodian right now. I'm still like dying a lot. I haven't like gotten good yet at the game. But like there's little spots where you'll be on a little island, and then enemies attack you, like you have to fight a wave of enemies, and then but the health, there's no like health drops I've found yet, so I don't know if you can like recharge your health, or you have to go back, or I'm not sure the mentality of moving forward yet, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm always, any game that you can play as a cat is automatically like cool with me. Like that kind of makes me think of another like Metroidvania that did get a physical. Gato, is it Gato Roboto?
And it's Gato Roboto, and you're in a cat suit. You're a big metal mech suit.
God, such a good game.
That game was cool. It has that ZX Spectrum single color aspect to it, which I like.
Now this game that you had in our note that I'm really interested in, that looks really cool, is Pocket Penguin DX.
Pocket Penguin, yes. So I added 3 games right before we started recording, and Pocket Penguin was on my short list to add to my Steam Deck, games that I needed to download and add to my Steam Deck, and I added Pocket Penguin DX over to my Steam Deck. It is a really cool one because it reminds me of Kirby. Or if you know what Wagyan Land is, I'm not sure if you know what that series is. That's a series of 5 to 6 games. 3 were on the Famicom untranslated, and there was a couple on Super Famicom. But that's what the feels are for the game. You play as a penguin with a 8-bit Game Boy aesthetic. You can change the colors, so I use the Super Game Boy. It just says SGB color scheme, which it changes per level. What's interesting is that the levels are super short, very easy platforming, but you get this like bomb. And so you just throw the bomb, and the bomb will like stick to enemies, and they get all like crazy. Like I don't know if you know the Metroid glitch, where if there's an enemy on the door and you shoot the door open, they like glitch out, and like that spins. They do that when you stick the bomb to certain enemies, and it's hilarious. And they just blow up. You don't get injured by the bomb, and you use the bomb as platformer.
Oh, that's cool.
I just unlocked this second bomb. This is just in the first world. I only played 1 world of it yesterday. There's a second bomb, and then so now I can jump up a little bit higher on platforms. The controls themselves, and I'm not sure if it's my Steam Deck button or if it's just I gotta get the timing down. It seems like a little bit slow with the bomb because there's a recharge time to the bomb. But there's a boss battle at the end, which reminded me of a Kirby boss, fighting a Kirby boss at the end of World 1. And then I went to another level, and it's almost like an Egyptian theme, and the colors, because I did Super Game Boy, changed to be more Egyptian. Like
that's cool.
3-tone, because it's all 3-tone color from Game Boy, like the 3-tone colors. So it's like 3-tone desert, which was really cool. It's a very fun one, man.
Yeah, it made me think of another like little indie game I played a long time ago, but I believe it's called Mr. Taco.
TAKO, yeah. Save plays it me.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was like Saving Mr. Taco or Taco, and it was like a Game Boy inspired platform where you played as a little octopus. Really fun game. That game was kind of tough though, but it was a lot of fun. But I was getting those vibes when I saw the Pocket Penguin DX, and I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, this is going to be my sort of game right here.
And that's like 100% like what we see when you're going through like Steam and the indie releases, is that there are people that are inspired by certain genres and aesthetics. And like for me, and I think you're the same way, I'm drawn to the stuff that I'm nostalgic for. So
Yeah.
like it's like, and I played a lot of stuff growing up and rented a lot of games growing up and got games from flea markets. So like I have a certain nostalgia, but it's pretty varied. Um, but like, yeah, the Game Boy style, like I had Game Boy growing up. I had to have my own light on the damn screen.
The little worm light.
And now when I say Pocket Penguin DX feels like Kirby, feels like original Kirby's Dream Land with frequent copy ability. Like it's like classic Kirby's Dream Land, not Kirby's Adventure where you get the million different things when it actually opened up the game. But it's super fun so far. There's power-ups you can buy and costumes you can buy too with the little coins that you collect at the level. So I got like a big like warrior headdress I bought because I was like, I'm not gonna buy any power-ups, I'm just gonna buy dumb stuff. And
Yeah.
that was all me just playing for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes yesterday.
Now, the interesting thing is, we talk about indie games that inspire us to play them because they kind of feed in that nostalgia. This next game that you put up actually doesn't fit that because this looks like a newer game. And that is the Axis Unseen.
Yeah, so this is this was the on the horizon, like as I found new stuff that I'm gonna cover for like indie gaming gems. Like this game looks ridiculous. It is like heavy metal horror.
It's so cool.
Dude. Like, and the thing is, it's all modernized, it's all crazy looking, and it is not AA, AAA, it is like indie style. Because sometimes I'll like add games to lists and I feel like they're indie, and then I find, oh no, it's definitely WayForward or it's something bigger, and to me WayForward's still indie, but
Yeah.
it's like a big old Konami did this, or there's actually one I'm covering and it's done by Kemco, and Kemco has done 1 billion RPGs.
WayForward to me is like that local band that that goes out of town and plays a lot of shows. That's what I think of WayForward. Like in that terms of an indie. So I go back to like talking about bands and music because that's a big scene that I grew up in, and that's also very indie. It's very independent, musicians, doing their thing. And WayForward is like that, band that plays in town. They're kind of like this one band that was in my town called The Hotness. And The Hotness, they were so popular you could buy their CDs in Best Buy. But they were still working their 9 to 5s. They weren't full-time musicians. That's kind of like what I feel like about WayForward. WayForward still has that indie kind of S to it, but I mean, they're starting to get a lot more momentum, and well deserved, because a lot of the stuff that they put out, especially now with like Clock Tower doing that Chrome engine that they're doing and like bringing some of these retro stuff, I'm down for it, dude. It's so cool. So cool.
Yeah, and it's nice to see an indie company growing and becoming larger as they progress. Because I mean, their first games are all high quality too, so that's where they just have this penchant for quality stuff. And they have the retro feel to them. So whether they're indie or retro, like the term is not synonymous; they're exclusive terms. And when they meld it together, it feels cool. But like this Axis Unseen, it looks ridiculous. All I've seen is trailers.
Yeah.
I haven't dug into it yet, but it looks like something that's right up both of our alley. Like it's just heavy metal, craziness, gory.
As we're recording this, it's not Halloween yet, and this would be a great Halloween game.
Something to stream.
Yeah.
Craziness. There was actually one game that I was playing this week too that I hadn't covered yet. Oh yeah, and that was the Isles of Sea and Sky. And that game is ridiculous because it reminds me of classic Zelda. More so like Game Boy Link's Awakening because of the island theme, but the graphics are more like the Game Boy Color style aspect. Not like, because it's not two-tone or three-tone, tri-tone. It's full-on colors, but it's all puzzle. It's all puzzles. So there's no like attacking Zelda style that I've gotten to yet. But it's more like push these blocks to get this ding, to get these keys, to be able to progress further, and then you can get to more islands and do more stuff with keys. Then it's super fun. Another chill game that I was playing, another like very, very relaxing game that just happened to look like a Zelda like, and
I love the art style. The art style kind of makes you think of like Wonder Boy almost, you know?
Yeah.
It looks really cool. Like Wonder Boy means Joe and Mac when it comes to the art style, because it's got kind of like that caveman kind of rustic.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the main key art for the game. Yeah, for sure. Then when you look at the actual graphics in the game, it's Zelda. Like it literally is top down Zelda style movement. And I like the different puzzle aspects where they start to get you to think about things a different way, where you can like teleport and portal around and things, which is really cool. Not sure if I'm ready for a puzzle game so quickly after Ouros, but we shall see. We shall see.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way when it comes to genre and games. Like if I beat, like say I play an RPG and I beat an RPG, it's hard for me to go from an RPG to another RPG. Sometimes I have to like, okay, so I played like this 40-hour plus game. Now I need to play like a bullet hell and just kind of like reset my brain, you know? So I totally get that. Totally get it.
Well, and it's like I've been wanting to go into a traditional Metroidvania again because I played some major ones earlier in the year, and it's like posting in the Indie Gaming Gems Facebook page and on Discord. We were talking about Deviator, which is like a Hollow Knight clone, and then working on episodes for episode 8 of Indie Gaming Gems because I work well in advance. Aestik, Aestik, is like another one that is another Hollow Knight style clone. So there's people that are making Hollow Knight style games, which is a bit ridiculous. So it makes me kind of want to play one of those two. Maybe I'll jump into it or not. I don't know. But that might be where I go for my palate cleanser for all this.
Indeed.
Jump in a little crazier. Let's see. So some of the other stuff on the horizon. So one thing that had happened within the last couple of weeks is the Steam Next Fest happened. And one of the games that piqued my interest, because I didn't go through all the games that are on the time, this game called Lovish was populated.
Okay.
And I posted this like right after our last episode, so I already forgot what genre this is. I just know it's part of the Steam Next Fest, and I can't look stuff up live while we're recording. So
well, I mean, it looks really cool. Like it has kind of like it looks almost like kind of makes you think of I'm trying to think of the freaking game right now. It's an SNK game.
Video game.
Yeah, it's an SNK video game. I'm trying to think
video game.
It looks like a video game.
It has colors and characters.
Yes. And like sprites. It's Athena.
Game.
That's what I'm thinking of. Athena.
There's gameplay.
It looks kind of like Athena. That's what it makes you think of.
Genre is like action platformer then?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely a 8-bit action adventure.
Nice.
Looks really cool.
I just know when I saw it, it like piqued my interest. And I'm like, let me add it. And then I didn't put enough context for me to remember, which is hilarious because I'm old.
Well, the viewers are going to know more than us because they'll see the B-roll.
They're like, you guys are crazy. What are you doing?
It's not an action adventure game. This is a visual novel. What are you talking about?
No, but it's that's the thing though, is that as we go through, there's so many games released where we're talking about 14,000 a year, 40 games a day, that it's like I see so many games and working on all these projects that it's like, let me add something. I try to add enough context because the way I record, I don't have, ways to like look stuff up on the fly. We're just shooting shit on the podcast. It's fun.
Well, it looks like the last two on the horizon that we were talking about is Duck.
That is so if you look it up on Steam, the Duck is an acronym. It's like dangerous something cartridge kidnappers. What? Dangerous ultimate cartridge kidnappers, maybe I got that right. But it is essentially WarioWare with a DuckTales style the new remake, not the old, as visual aesthetic, and there's like a million mini games. with the game. It's insane. I was playing it last night. It is really fun. So there's like a whole story that you can thankfully press the button to skip the blabbers, what it says or whatever. So I could skip the story. But then you go and like each duck is like playing the console. It's 101 like a bootleg NES game console, but they're all mini games like WarioWare. And then it has you go and like, oh, destroy all these tanks, or it has you do all these other things like tap the buttons real fast so you can beat the person in a run. And then the first mini boss was like, is this game where you control your own ship and it moves like a ship a little bit slowly, and then you got to shoot bombs and cannon balls to blow up other ships on like pirate ships, and then you got to take their treasure from them. The treasure falls down, and what I like about it so far, and it might just be the difficulty that I have it on right now, is that I can retry, so I don't lose a life. You can just retry instead of losing a duck. And so you can try infinitely till you beat the levels. And it wasn't too hard. I only had to retry stuff like once or twice max so far to get through the whole first world. And I think there's like 8 worlds or something like there of different games. Maybe there's 10, and there's 10 of 10, and there's 100 games. That, I mean, makes more sense to me. Makes more sense to me. But it's fun as shit.
Sounds like another like UFO 50, like a game that I'm gonna be like curiously downloading and just waste a whole week playing.
Honestly, I think UFO 50 is a different beast only because every one of those games in UFO 50 is a full-fledged game. That's
True.
like
Is there a Hugh Wario?
yeah, these are like tiny mini games. Like I'm talking about you're in and out in like seconds. Yes, one. Yeah. Yeah, different beast. But yeah, I could see you sucking your life away. Sucking like it's a beast. And it's not pixelated though either. It's like the graphics are done in a certain artistic style. Which is fun. What does duck actually stand for? Is it dangerous? Ultimate.
That's what I was looking. That's what I was looking for. But instead, I found this other game. I actually this is live, folks. This is my reaction to this game right here. I found this game called Duck Game, and it was
Ducky Game.
Yeah, Duck Game.
That's an old school one.
Yeah, it was like it was released on the yeah.
I was right because I got my deck here. A dangerous ultimate cartridge kidnapper. Yeah, the Duck Game is a classic one. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Duck Game looks kind of cool. I never heard of this game. I'm like, oh, it's got like on the Google reviews, it's got a 4.2.
I want to say it has a physical release on Nintendo Switch. Duck Game, by probably limited run, so it's a known name for sure. Yeah.
That's cool. So I just found guys. I just found a game while we're talking about a game. It's Gameception.
That you haven't heard of.
Yeah, Indieception right here.
But the stuff like Duck, the Dangerous Ultimate Cartridge Kidnapper is like obscure. Like no physical release, none of that stuff. Like it's wild.
It's indie credible. Is what it is.
Indie credible.
And the last game we have over the horizon is a roguelike platformer called Elise.
Yeah, so Elise, or is it Elsie? I don't know. Probably Elise.
So
because Elise, how I spell my daughter's name, Elise, Elise. So it's Elsie. But as people know who listen to Indie Gaming Gems on YouTube, I will mispronounce stuff like crazy and say like differently. But
there was a game that I reviewed a long time ago that I mispronounced, and I did this review like 8 years ago, and I still get comments of people for like being like, "You said it wrong," and I'm like, "You're just helping the algorithm at this point."
I said it wrong. You are correct. I definitely did that. That's the thing, though, is that like I will mention it because there's some games where I'm covering them and they're from developers from different countries, and then the names, the way that they're pronunciated, like that's not something I'm familiar with. So I'll just say, "Oh, probably said that wrong." But but Elise is pretty cool though because it has this futuristic cyberpunk action. It is definitely an action style roguelike where you unlock different power-ups as you go through, which is fun as hell. What I like about it too is that they have accessibility options, so you can put it on so you're invulnerable, which makes some of the power-ups a little bit unfair because one of them is like keep on having your attack build up until you take damage. But then I put invulnerability on, so I could keep on getting stronger, which was pretty funny. There's a lot of that gated off spot where you have enemies coming at you and you got to attack and kill all the enemies to move forward, which is interesting. And then you go between levels. Seems like there's a lot of spots where you're expected to die because there'll be these like little hubs where you could like unlock things, and there's a guy that says, "Hey, let the people in the back know that this needs to be fixed." But I haven't died because I was playing with the accessibility option so I could try it out and see if I like it. But the controls are pretty cool, very tight, very smooth. There's 2 different power-ups that I had. Like one was, you have your normal shot, which I was able to add power-ups to it Mega Man style, but it's like you get these capsules like in a roguelike, so you can I had like a boomerang shot, but once you run out of your stamina, it turns into like a normal pea shooter again. You have another button that you shoot, and it's almost like a Hadouken. It's like, but then that takes time to recharge. So yeah, there was a lot of little fun aspects to this game. That was really sad.
Really, really cool.
And that was just playing for a little bit, like not a whole lot of time, man.
Now what's the price on this game? Like, what's it going for on Steam at the moment?
I have no idea.
You're just like, I saw it and I bought it. Sounds like the
I
eShop.
bought it. Exactly. I mean, I could sit here and try to get it to pop up. Let's see, ELYS. It doesn't even show up. That's hilarious. See, that's how obscure this stuff is. Is that I type in.
I couldn't find any footage for it. That's why I was being really quiet, because I was trying to look for something to talk about. But I was seeing all these other games called it.
Well, and that's the thing, is that there's a bunch of games called Elise on Steam, and that is not it, though. And that's the thing that's crazy about Steam, is that there are so many games that it is. Where is it at? This is all live. I love it. Maybe they removed it. Because sometimes with these games, they'll be removed and changed out. There was a game called Astroneer. I don't know if you've heard of Astroneer before.
No, I haven't.
It is getting pretty popular. It ended up being a game that was awesome. It was on Steam, but then Sony got wind of it, picked it up, and got exclusivity for it. The developer is 12 years old.
Wow.
And so the developer is a really really young kid and now has this exclusivity. And I was telling my daughter about it, and she was like, "What? I want to have it. I want to do games. Can I do games?" Like,
you remember that? You remember that one game they had on the Switch for a long time? That video game maker. Like, it never really lifted off. I never really heard anybody make any games from it. What was that game on the Switch that was supposed to like help you create video games?
oh, was that a Game Builder Garage from Nintendo?
Yeah.
It was fun. It told you the baselines. So I was spelling Elise as my daughter's name instead of Elsie, Elsie. I found it, and
There it is.
there it is here. The game costs you $102. No, it's a $20 game. No, they have a play. It's Playtonic actually is the publisher. So if you know who Playtonic is they signed Ukulele.
Yeah.
So, and Little Gator Game and other obscure little indie
Little Gator Game. That was such a fun game. I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was one of the games I was going to mention. Maybe more in the next episode, because that's a very cozy game. Little Gator Game's fun.
So the interesting thing about this game, so looking at the company, it's they're under Platonic Friends, so you can't even find them. It's a Night Shift Games is the developer, but I can't like look up games by Night Shift Games. I can't look them up like as a developer, because the digital publisher actually lumps them all together. So you can't like look up the actual like Night Shift Games and what they have done, because like Platonic has signed Little Gator Game, Blossom Tales 2, Demon Turf, and Ukulele and Little Golf Journey. But like I can't just like look up that own developer themselves and see, oh, what else have they done? Because this game is super polished. But yeah. But Elsie itself, though, really, really cool game that I was playing yesterday. And I mean, the graphics in it just look awesome. Very neon-y, very Mega Man ZX or Luminous Adventure X style, WayForward style.
Yeah.
Feels like something WayForward could have done, honestly.
Right up my alley then. We could do a whole future episode on like Mega Man like games, like Mega Man like indies, because I didn't know that was a thing until like last year. Like I just thought, oh, this game has like Mega Man. But there's apparently like a whole like subgenre of like indie developers that make Mega Man like games. Like that's their palette right there. Really,
it's basically anything for everything.
Yeah,
has a subgenre, has people that passionately make things for it. I mean, I've seen it for every piece, and Mega Man's super popular. I mean, hell, Metroidvanias are its own subgenre. Mega Man likes, Zelda likes, like all the stuff that we enjoy. It's fun. Yes, I mean, hell, there's a lot of Contra likes out there. I think I've already found like several that are just as polished, just like Iron Stakes, Iron Boot.
Indeed.
The Cyborg Force is another one. It's just right
Mighty Goose Game. Mighty Goose Game's like another. Even though Mighty Goose Game needs to think of Metal Slug, that's what I really like about it.
That's more Metal Slug. Yeah,
it's very Metal Slug.
But I mean, it literally just 2D action games, honestly. But like
snappy.
Exactly, and the thing is, with the Mega Man style, you got like Berserk Boy.
Oh yeah,
it's more so taking the power ups from the level bosses, and powering up. That's where I don't know if you've played the game Sydney Hunter.
Yes.
So Sydney Hunter gets a rap at being more of a Metroidvania, even though it's level by level, and more so you take power ups from enemies. It's more of a Mega Man style.
The way I got that game, it's a really funny story. Is because you're talking about the one that was developed with Gamester 81, right?
Yeah.
I got a review code from a contest on the Metal Jesus Rocks Facebook page. Like, because I guess he had some extra codes and he was like, hey, I've got a contest, leave a comment, blah, blah. I left the comment. And they're like, they sent me the code and I made a review on it. And, being an All Gen Gamers fan like myself, it was a pipe dream to play a game that, I heard Gamester talk about for a long time. That I got from Metal Jesus. I'm like, man, this is cool. This is the gaming community as a whole right here. This is what the community is all about.
It's crazy. It's fun though. The community's tight, and so yeah, going so far back with those guys, it's fun stuff. But like that's where but from a genre perspective, Sydney Hunter gets more of a Metroidvania vibe, but it's not. It's an action game that has more in common with Mega Man because of all the different power ups and stuff you get.
And it's such a good game.
Reality is it's Rick Dangerous, but let's be honest. But like they had a whole thing where people thought it was Rick Dangerous back in the Super Nintendo version, and it was funny. Like somebody used the backbone of Rick Dangerous clone or something, and there was a big controversy with Sydney Hunter back in the day in the tiny little communities.
Yeah,
it's fun.
It's a good game though. Regardless, I don't care. I had a lot of fun playing it.
Exactly. So I do like the unfocused, or focused on what we're playing episodes like these types. Because I mean, we're not going to talk any kind of overarching episode of community stuff. We'll do that maybe next time.
Yeah.
But is there anything else you want to kick off, or are we going to head over and see y'all next week?
I think this is a good spot because I mean, there's next episode I'm going to have a lot to talk about because I'm going to be really hunkering down and playing some deep cuts on my Nintendo Switch because I have like so many games on my Switch, so many indie games that I've covered over the years and I've talked about that I've kind of forgot about after all this time that I'm going back and revisiting. Oh yeah, that game. There's this game, I can't remember the name of it, but you play as a knight and you're trying to save the princess, but you ended up farting and it really offended her. So you're just trying to go through the levels, like trying to get back to her because you farted. and it was a bad first impression. I'm like,
I know that game.
yeah,
I've been running in crazy indie circles forever, so I know a lot of crazy games. But yeah, you'll definitely have to talk about that one. I got a story behind it too.
oh yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I will make the goal of playing a game or two. That'll be fun. Like, I'm not going to try to play a million. We'll see. Play a couple today. I do need to play something more actiony now that I've played all these chill games, but we shall see.
Indeed.
But yeah, everybody, we'll see you for episode 5. Thank you, everyone, for checking out this episode of Indie Credible. There we go. Make sure you follow us. We have lots of stuff going on every week on YouTube on Fridays, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you check out Indie Gaming Gems. That is the structured review/preview series about 10 indie games you may not have heard of.
And you can check me out, Xander Scullion, across the board. I kept it real simple for you guys. You can check me out on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. And, on my channel, I'll cover a little series called Play and Tell, where I talk about games I've been playing, leave little short impressions, mini reviews, and most importantly, when you walk away, you have something new to play. So you can check out my Play and Tell series. I also have some reviews that I put out every once in a while, and a live stream, which I'm really trying to commit and have a dedicated schedule. So that's more important that you hit the bell so you're notified whenever I'm live, because you never know. I might be live right now.
Yes, he's always live. Oh, always. And then, of course, I have all of my books at HagensAlley.com. You can check out. I've had like dozens of books published. I try to upload and keep things up to date with the latest reviews, the latest books up there, but they have to be in hand. So if you follow me on social medias, you'll see when the newest Kickstarter goes live, the backer kit goes live, the newest crowdfunding thing is going live. And as soon as you become a backer, there's updates that go out all the time. So we're always working on new books and new series and new things. Of course, upcoming, coordinated with this podcast, will be Indie Gaming Gems, which will be coming out next year sometime. It'll be fun time here for us in the indie gaming world.